students, in the series of learning C++ programming language, in the previous session we have discussed about that procedure oriented approach and object oriented approach. What is the difference and what are those exactly? In this session I am going to explain principles of OOPS. OOPS stands for object oriented programming. Those are nothing but object oriented programming concepts. See, C++ is an object oriented language. Here object word is very much important. Means in C++, whatever programming we will do or whatever concept C++ has provided, those are all based on this object word. Okay, and those are nothing but principles of OOPS. Those we have to learn first and then we can easily learn C++. The main basic principles of OOPS are: the first one is object, the next one is class concept is there, then third one is data abstraction, then next one is encapsulation, then inheritance, polymorphism, and then seventh one is dynamic binding, and the last one is message passing. See, these are very much important concepts of OOPS. Those you must know. Now the first thing we will discuss about this object. Object is any runtime entity that may be having physical or logical existence. Means you can consider this marker as an object. Then I am object of person class. You are objects of students class. Then this book can be considered as object, this board can be considered as object. Means everything that is having physical or logical existence can be considered as an object, entity, any entity you can consider here, which is having some characteristics and behavior along with it. Means what? See, I am an object of person class. I have some characteristics with me. What are those? Like person is having name, person is having height, person is having address, person is having like mobile number, then qualification. This type of characteristics person may have. I am one object of person class. I have some values to those attributes, like my name is Pallavi Sauji. That is, the name attribute is having Pallavi Sauji value. And the attributes are having values with respect to that particular object. There may be any number of objects of this person type. Next one is student. Student, if you are considering student as an object, then what are characteristics of that student or attributes of that student? Like student is having roll number with it, name with it, class with it, division, then height, weight, then school name, then let student has given any examination, then marks from that examination. All are these possible. There are many more attributes along with that student object. Now what is about logical entity? Logical means that you can consider bank account as an object. That bank account is having account number with it. Then that let it is a balance amount, it is having some balance amount, then balance amount, then type of that account. These all are possible attributes about that account object. Means that bank account also can be considered as an object. Means any runtime entity that is having physical or logical existence can be considered as an object. This is very much important. Now for example, student. But overall student is not any object. Any particular student can be considered as an object. Let student 1. This can be considered as an object. There may be any number of objects. That student 2, student 3, student 4. See, attributes are not only the part of object. An object can behave, an object can do any functionality. Means some functionality is also there along with that object. Now what is this? Let student object we have considered here. Student is having some attributes, like student is having like roll number, then name, then let height, okay, then weight, Then you can consider next one is like student is having class, then student is having like division. Getting? These are all attributes of that student object. There are many more attributes. Okay. Now see, let particular student you are considering like student 1, then it is having let roll number 1, then name like Ram, then next one is here height, then weight, then class, then division, all are having some values with it. Let height is 5.2, then next one is weight is let here 50, then class is let it is in 8th standard, then 8, then next one is division is let B. Getting? These are the values of these attributes, and those are for that particular student 1. Getting? And this is nothing but object. Now object is not having only attributes along with that, object is also having some functionality along with it. Now what is that functionality? See, student can learn. This is first functionality, student can learn. Then next one is student can write. Okay, that is second functionality. Student can sleep. Okay, student may sleep, not in classroom, outside classroom, at his home. Okay, then a student can walk. This is again one functionality. Then student can read. This is one more function. Any number of functions. Student can eat. Any number of functionalities you can consider over here along with that student object. But see, whenever we are talking about programming implementation, means any program we are writing about that student object, then inside that we will not consider these type of functionalities. We will just consider the functionalities like we have data about that student. Let that student is having this type of information that we have to accept from that student, and we have to display to the user, means whatever program you are doing, and inside that let student is a entity. Then inside that we have to consider about whatever the possible attributes, though that data we can accept from student, then we can display that data about student. One more functionality may be there, like we can calculate result of that student if that student is having some marks attributes. Getting? This type of functionalities we will consider while writing programs. We will not consider these type of functionalities while writing program. Means here what are the functionalities we have to consider in programming. In programming perspective you have to think here. Not only student can do these things, means these are the functionalities along with that student. These are the functionalities, but those we cannot implement using programming language. But inside programming we can think functionalities like we get data about that student, like get data. Then you can write here display function, that means display information about that student. If this student is having some marks in a examination, let M1 and M2 are marks of 2 subjects, then calculate result. These type of functionalities we can consider. Okay, while considering the student as an object inside a program. Getting? This is all about object. Object is any runtime entity that may have physical or logical existence. Object is having attributes with it. For those attributes, that particular object is having some values, and it is having functionality along with it. Now see, we have seen that structures concept in C language. So using that structure concept we can represent entity like that student, and one variable of that structure is representing one object of that student structure. Getting? And that structure is nothing but a way to create user defined data. If we have created any structure student, then that is nothing but user defined data type student we have created, and we can create multiple variables of that structure just like normal integer variables, and those instances of that structure student are nothing but objects actually, but inside in that C language we have not seen like that structure is having attributes as well as functionality. Only we can write their attributes, functionality is not possible. But here inside C++ there is one more concept, that is class. Using this class concept we can create one data type that can represent object of any kind. Getting? Class can be used to create user defined data type and that will represent object of any kind. Means here we can create student class, and that student class we can use to create object of that type student. See here, don't worry about that syntax, how to create class. I am again going to explain that in brief in next videos. Okay, don't worry about that. Only I am writing something here like structure, how we create structure. In the same way we can create class. See, let here class student we have created. That student class is having some attributes with it. See here I am writing some attributes from this like integer, roll number. Then next one is let it is having, next one is name, that is character array. Character name of, let maximum size I am considering 19. Height, weight, class, division, marks if you are considering, then all these attributes we have to write over here. And again whatever possible methods we have to write here like get data, then these are the methods, get data. Then next one is let display. These are the possible methods, any number of methods this class can have. Means this is just a class student. See, this student class is just a blueprint to represent object. It is just a blueprint. Means we are just creating the template, okay, and that template you can use to create object. Getting? Now see, we know integer is a built-in data type. Int is provided by the language itself. We can use that integer data type to create any number of instances of that integer. Getting? Those all instances will have the properties of that int. Getting? In the same way, class can be considered as a blueprint to represent similar kind of objects. Means this is not only one object. We can represent any number of students with the help of this blueprint, because all those students will have the same attributes and same functionality along with them, but here values for those attributes will be changed. Getting? Now we can create multiple instances of that student class. One instance of that student class is nothing but one object in this way. Getting? Now how to create class actually programmatically, that we will discuss in later session. Okay. Now the next concept inside this object oriented programming, that is nothing but abstraction. In simple words we can say that abstraction is nothing but showing only essential features by hiding background details. See here, abstraction refers to showing only essential features by hiding background details. See, we have just seen that class concept. In that class concept we have declared that student class. Okay, and that student class is having some functionality along with that, like get data, display data, then show result. Outside that class we can just call the methods of that class, like that s1 is the object of that class, then we will just call like s1.getData, then that is nothing but accept data about that s1 student. So whatever internal implementation details are written inside that method only, there is no need to write it again. Only just call the method, then whatever written inside that it will get executed. That is nothing but abstraction. Means here we are just showing essential feature, which is the method here, that you can directly call. But how it will be implemented, that is totally hidden. Getting? That is nothing but abstraction. Now real life example I am telling here. Let's consider this fan object. We know only how to switch on and how to switch off that fan. Only we will click on that switch. Okay, whenever we will on the switch, the fan will start. Whenever we off that switch, the fan will stop. We know only this one. This is nothing but showing only essential features. But internally how it is working. After switching on that fan, how it is internally starting that fan or how it is internally working, don't think about that. Means that is totally hidden from us. That is nothing but abstraction. Means here only showing essential features, but how it is exactly internally implementing, that is totally hidden. That is nothing but abstraction that we can achieve in this C++ and all object oriented programming languages having this feature. Getting? Means abstraction refers to showing only essential features by hiding background details. Getting? The next one is encapsulation. See, encapsulation, you know capsule. Capsule is just like this. There is some medicine is here, some medicine is, and we are enclosing both the medicines to make one thing. That is nothing but capsule. Now encapsulation is just like this. Means we have seen that class or object. Those are having data and functionality along with that. Whatever attributes we have seen about that class, that is nothing but data. Okay, you can call it as a data, attributes, characteristics, and again we will call in programming, we will call those attributes as the data members. Okay, and whatever functionality, that is nothing but member function. We have to call it as a member function. Now those data members means characteristics or attributes and functionality, that is nothing but behavior or member functions, we are enclosing together in single unit called as a class. We have seen that class. Inside that we are grouping the data members and member functions together to form a single unit, and this concept is nothing but encapsulation. Means using class we can combine together the data members. Data members are nothing but attributes, remember, and member functions. These data members and member functions we are grouping together inside a single unit called as a class, and that is nothing but encapsulation. Now the next one is inheritance. Now here inheritance means, see, just extracting something and creating new one. Means like there is something already present, and from that we are creating something new one by adding some extra features in it. That is nothing but inheritance. Means let we have created any class, let class student, and from that it is having some attributes like only roll number and namelet, and it is having only two methods like get data and display. Okay, now I want to just create one more class that will have like roll number of that student, name of that student. Again I want to store some extra information about that student like class, division, address, this type of information again I want to store inside that student class. Then it is already created, I cannot use for that purpose. Means here if we are creating object of this student class, then we can only store roll number and name, but it is because it is not having those extra attributes. Now what is the solution here? There is one solution, then we can create one more class that is having all those attributes. But already we have created this one, and this we can use to create new one by extending this. Means we can create one more class here having these attributes and functionality, and some extra attributes and functionalities we can add. That is nothing but derivation or inheritance concept. See, I am creating one more class like class student new. Okay, and inside that we will write whatever extra attributes only. Like I want to store like let class of that student like integer class only, I will store like 1 2 3 4, that integer class. And then one more attribute I want there like division. Means these two attributes I want additionally in this student class. That this is already present, I will not change it, I will not modify it. I will create one more class using this student class as a base. Okay, this is possible in object oriented programming, and this is the concept of inheritance. Means already there is something present and we can create something new by extending it. Here we are extending this student class and creating one new student class, and we are whatever additional features I am writing here only inside that class, and some additional functionality you want here, then you can write here. Getting? And this is nothing but deriving something new by using old one. Getting? One more example, let I have a person class. Let I have a person class, and person class is having let name with it, then address with it, then height, weight. Okay, these are the attributes inside that person class, and some methods again. Now I want to create one more class, that is employee class. Employee is again a person. Okay, employee is again a person, means if we want to create employee class, then inside that again we will write that name, address, height, weight. Getting? But some additional features are there, like salary of that employee, company name of that employee, again that qualification of that employee. These are some important attributes about that employee object. Okay, and then we can do like this. We have let a ready person class already created, and from that we can create one more class, that is nothing but employee. Now employee will have all the attributes and functionalities of this person class, as well as some extra additional attributes. This we can achieve, and this is the concept of inheritance. Getting? Okay, now the next concept is polymorphism. Polymorphism means one thing having multiple forms. For example, I am a person, I am also teacher, I am also mother. Means I can act differently in different situations. Okay, and that is nothing but one thing having multiple forms, and that is a polymorphism. One more example is there, that is a plus symbol. Plus symbol we can use to add two integers. Okay, the same symbol we can use to add two float values. The same symbol we can use to concatenate two strings. Okay, not in C or C++, but in some programming languages we can use to concatenate two strings this plus symbol. Okay, like plus, here one string is there, second string is there, like let hello, and there is world. Okay, then you can use that plus symbol to attach these two strings like hello, world. This is nothing but concatenation. If we are using this plus symbol with two integers like 5 plus 6, then we will get result 11. We can also use this plus symbol for two floating point values, means numbers having decimal point in it, like 1.5 plus 2.5. Then we will get here 4. Getting 4.0. This is what plus symbol is acting differently in different situations. One plus symbol we can use for multiple purpose. This is the concept of polymorphism, means one thing having many forms. Okay, C++ or object oriented languages are having this feature. There are basically two types of polymorphism, like compile time, run time, whatever we will discuss in that lesson only. Here polymorphism means what? One thing having many forms. Means in different situations it will act differently, the behaviors is different. Now one more point is there, let we have written any function, that is add function. Addition function, this addition function we can write to add two integers. The same function we can write to add two floating point values. Same function we can write to add two objects again. That is actually polymorphism concept that we can achieve in object oriented programming languages, and this is the concept of polymorphism. Okay, how to achieve this, what are different types of polymorphism, everything we will see in that lesson. Now next one is dynamic binding. See, actually dynamic binding means whatever function call to the function definition, that linking will be done at the time of execution. That is nothing but dynamic binding. Actually this is only with respect to object orientation. We know that function concept in C programming language means we have to call the function. Whenever we call function, then automatically control V is will go inside that function definition and will execute all those statements. That linking of that function call and function definition will be done at the time of compilation. But here in the, object orientation, there is a functionality that is dynamic binding. Here that function call and function definition linking is possible at the time of execution. That virtual function concept is there in C++. There we will see this dynamic binding. Okay, and the last one is message passing. Message passing means objects can communicate. Here see, here we are only thinking about objects. There are multiple objects, and multiple objects not only of same type, they may be of different type also. Okay, they can communicate with each other by passing messages to each other. Actually passing messages is nothing but calling their methods or functionalities. See, I am switching on the fan, means I am an object of person class, and this fan is object of fan class. Now I am just switching on that fan, means I am calling that switch on method of that fan object. This is means I am communicating with that fan object by switching on that switch on button. Getting? This is nothing but communicating, message passing between two objects. Now I am giving some instructions to you, means I am just passing messages to you. I am an object of teacher class and you are an object of student class, and see, I am just something sharing with you, that is nothing but message passing in between us. This object can communicate with each other by passing messages to each other. Actually in a programming we will pass messages, means just we will call methods of objects. Getting? Or methods means those functionalities, whatever functions we have written inside that, means class is a combination of that attributes and functionalities. Those functions we can call, those are nothing but member functions. Okay, the calling member functions mean just passing messages. Getting? These are all object oriented principles you must know. Again I am repeating. See, object is any runtime entity that may have physical or logical existence. You can consider fan as an object, this marker as an object, student is an object, bank account can be considered as an object. Getting? Now class is what? Class is a blueprint to represent similar kind of objects. This class we can use to create our own data type, and that data type we can use to create number of variables, and those variables or instances of that class are nothing but objects. Now next one is that abstraction. Abstraction refers to showing only essential features by hiding background details. See, we have seen that fan example. Okay, now next one is encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but feature of grouping together data and functionality in a single unit called as class. Then next one is polymorphism. Polymorphism is nothing but one thing having multiple forms. That plus operator we have seen. For different operands it will act differently. That is nothing but polymorphism. The next one is inheritance, means there is something already present that we can consider as a base, and from that we can create something new that is derived. Already present whatever old, that we can reuse and create something new from that. That is the concept of inheritance. Then next one is dynamic binding, means function call to function definition, whatever linking that can be done at the time of execution, that we can achieve in case of object oriented languages. That is the concept of dynamic binding. And the last one is message passing. Message passing means objects can communicate with each other by passing messages to each other. Passing messages is nothing but calling functions. Here we have covered all the object oriented principles. From the next session we will see that actual history of C++ language. Some basic concepts about that C++ that we will discuss in the next session. Till that, take care. Bye bye.